Today on Play to Win, our New Year's special on the Dogs and the SEC, the Falcons and the NFL playoffs, plus injuries, fantasy football, and Jeffrey the Ed Schechter picks against the spread on the fastest 30 minutes in football.
Play to Win is being brought to you by the Southeastern Nissan dealers, Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakery, and SD Services.
Welcome to Play to Win with former Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith, Fantasy Football League previews with Adam Brown, game analysis with Nikki Williams, Play to Win expert Jeffrey the Ed Schechter, medical and injury update with Dr. Andrew Lalaji, and your host, Atlanta sports veteran Bob Neal. Today's SEC report is being brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
And Happy New Year to everybody. Bob Whitfield, Nikki Williams, Chuck Smith. Jeffrey, of course, will be along just a few minutes.
I lost 10 pounds on New Year's Day.
Fantastic. You dropped your watch.
Resolution accomplished.
All right. This is, by the way, our preview show for 2016, taking a look into the future. And let's start with the SEC, of course, and some of the storylines we'll be following in 2016. And the first one, Chuck Smith, I want to go to you with, and that is Kirby Smart's establishing his new era at the University of Georgia.
Well, and I think it starts out with Kirby establishing the mindset, Bob. And what that is, that we want to be the most physical, best prepared team each and every week. That's one of the things that anytime I've been around Kirby or the Alabama program, that's what Nick Saban preaches. That's what he's going to bring back to Georgia. All
right, Nikki, LSU and Les Miles, is it a love affair? Is it up and down? It's kind of like a love affair, I guess. We love you, we don't love you, we love you.
Well, they love him enough to have him back for 2016. That, to me, Bob, isn't weird. What's weird to me is the way this has all been handled. It's as if Les Miles has been men in blacked. He's now saying that the faculty and the staff and the fans have always been so good to me at LSU. Were they good to you when the athletic director was admitting that he was searching for a replacement for you? What I don't know, maybe they just couldn't get Jimbo Fisher. I don't know which coach in their right mind would go to a place with no job security like LSU.
Yeah,
maybe they can afford him.
For Les, the fans wanted him back, but that then kind of puts the fans in control too.
So the fans can fire him next year.
That could be.
One bad loss, that's all it takes at LSU.
Bob Whitfield, how about Will Muschamp going to South Carolina? Initially, that was a big surprise to me, but it's becoming less surprising. What do you think?
Well, what's more surprising is the guy's Twitter blowing up right now. Yeah. Muschamp is out there at Coach W. Muschamp because he's all in Florida stealing recruits. He's talking about getting defensive ends out of Miami, and he's out to Florida State's top recruit. Look for Muschamp to do well in recruiting.
Oh, that's business as usual.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Now, we also want to talk. Arkansas is playing in a bowl game this afternoon, by the way, against Kansas State in the Liberty Bowl. Arkansas started slow, finished 7-5. They get in the bowl game, but once again, it's a slow start, strong finish, but not quite where they want to be, Nikki.
Yeah, Arkansas has a lot of momentum going into the bowl season, but it's like they go into October, 4 losses, and then they come in and they sweep November. It's been the norm for them. What they need to figure out for next year is how to come with the heat right out of the gates, because they really put themselves at a disadvantage, and they keep doing it over and over again.
Okay, it's time for our college football showdown, brought to you by the Georgia Lottery, and that, by the way, is going to be a good one with Oregon last year playing in the championship game, and TCU at 10-2. There's the matchup, number 15 and number 11. However, Chuck, when we take a look at that, the offensive matchup here, a ton of sports will touchdowns will be scored in the ball game.
Yeah, it will be. And when you think of TCU, when you think of Oregon, you think of fast track. You think of road runners. You think of lightning in the bottle. And I'm going to tell you this. If this was Baskin-Robbins, they would have 34 flavors, not 33. There are going to be so many great players on this field and so many road runners. I mean, it's going to be an offensive explosion.
Yeah, and Jeffrey's going to pick it in just a minute. Mark Helfrich and Oregon. Oregon last year this time was playing in a championship game. What's the story there?
I feel kind of bad for the guy, Bob. Ever since he's come in after Chip Kelly, he's just been in the hot seat. These fans expect so much. They expect so many wins. I think if he can go ahead and win this game, it might help to establish him next year, get the naysayers off of his back. He did just get that huge quarterback from Montana State. So he's trying to turn this around to where people trust him with his job, which is what he deserves, I think.
And they rank 15th, but for Oregon, that's not enough compared to last year, of course. And Bob Whitfield, this is going to be interesting. How are the defenses going to play against all this explosive offense?
Defense? What defense? You won't see any defense. It's going to be a ridiculous amount of points being scored. It's like Donald Trump in a presidential debate. A ridiculous amount of points. Watch it, Bob. It's going to be crazy.
Going to be crazy. A little bit like Bob, our guy. And now let's find out who's going to win that game. Number 15 versus number 11, Jeffrey the Edge.
TCU was supposed to be national champ. Everybody loved them coming into the season. They were disappointing with injuries. Oregon has come on strong. I like Oregon with the point.
All right, Oregon +1, says Jeffrey the Edge Schechter. A lot more picks to come. And when we come back, we're going to talk about that bowl game called the Tax Slayer with Georgia. How will the Dogs do?
Toyotathon is back with a season full of holiday treats.
Like 0% APR financing on the reliable Camry. Did you know 90% of Camrys sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today? But hurry, our biggest event of the year won't last long. Right now at the Toyotathon sales event, get a low 0% APR for 60 months plus $500 holiday bonus cash on a new 2016 Toyota Camry. That's just 0% APR.
Make the holidays happier at Toyotathon.
Toyota, let's go places.
Toyotathon is on at Stone Mountain Toyota, and that means tremendous savings for you on a new Toyota. The new 2016 Toyota Camry LE Automatic is Toyotathon priced at only $18,891. For a limited time, save big on a new 2016 Corolla L Automatic. Yours for just $14,991.
Stone Mountain Toyota, a great price, a great buying experience. Come in and have a cup of coffee with me today.
You're just one number off, but the game is on.
Cash 3 and Cash 4 players, your days of being just one number off from the winning numbers are over with a brand new way to play called One Off. If any or all of your numbers are just one digit off the winning numbers in exact order, you still win. That gives you tons of chances to win a bunch of cash.
Just one number off, but the game is on.
Same great games, now with a new feature. Play Cash 3 and Cash 4 with One Off, only from the Georgia Lottery.
There's still time to get in. Get bonus cash now at Nissan's holiday event.
Get up to 1,000 bonus cash on top of existing offers.
Get in before it's over.
Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com. Nissan, innovation that excites.
Hometown Team Report is being brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, bringing a higher order of pizza to Atlanta for 40 years.
All right, welcome back. It's time for Hometown Team Report, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. We talked about Georgia going into next season, the 2016, I guess now it's this season, with Kirby Smart. But let's talk about Georgia and their bowl game at noon today down in Jacksonville in the Tax Slayer Bowl against the Penn State Nittany Lions. But first, Chuck, we're going to have Brian McClendon is going to be coaching the Bulldogs as an interim, but also Brian McClendon, a man you know well, has already been selected as the co-offensive coordinator for Will Muschamp at South Carolina. First of all, talk about Brian coaching in this game, and I know you know him well.
Well, yeah, and Brian, number one, he's a professional, and I think that's one of the things that both sides see that it's going to benefit them down the line because he can handle both of these jobs. He's professional. He's a great manager of people, and that's what Brian does well. And he's also a great game day coach when it comes to strategy. So I think it's a win-win for both schools.
And I know you had some experience recruiting against Brian McClendon.
Recruit his butt off.
He's taken some talent there, right, in terms of his own recruiting abilities?
Yeah. He does a fantastic job, one of the best recruiters in America.
All right, Nikki, let's talk about the game itself. Georgia's been playing pretty well offensively. However, coming into this game, they're playing Penn State. What's the status of that Penn State D-line?
Lord, don't put Georgia in Jacksonville ever. Penn State's defensive front is tied for first in the country in sacks with 44 with that questionable quarterback play on Georgia's side. That is something that Penn State is definitely going to take advantage of.
All right, let's talk about, you mentioned quarterbacks, let's talk about it. Grayson Lambert, who is, by the way, just filling time until Jacob Eason gets here next year, is going to play quarterback against Christian Hackenberg. Talk about the quarterbacks.
Well, let me pull something out of my notes, Bob, with the human highlighter over here. And let me tell you like this.
Because I take notes.
I tell you, Lambert needs to tell his old lineman, please help me. I'll buy you mellow mushroom pizza all day if you protect me, because he will struggle against Penn State, and Penn State's quarterback is looking up because he wants a big game against the SEC.
He does, and he may go, he's junior, Hackenberg, may go to the NFL.
Well, yeah, he's a big-time player, and this is a big-time audition for Hackenberg.
He's a classic NFL type. We'll see how well he does if he does go. Let's find out about who's going to win the game now in the Tax Slayer Bowl with Jeffrey the Edge Schechter. Jeffrey?
Both teams had disappointing seasons, but that's why they're in the Tax Slayer Bowl. I picked Penn State last week. I'm going to stick with them, take the 6.5 with Penn State.
All right, you're taking Penn State. Getting 6.5 points. By the way, everybody's done so well on this. It's time to bring in the mellow mushroom pizzas.
Well,
guys, come on in. We bring them in.
Year's.
And we promise we're going to share these pizzas with Jeffrey, who's just right over there. Oh, does that look good? Which one of these is the meat buster? Right, that's it right there. Mellow Mushroom brings you Hometown Team Report, and occasionally they're kind enough to bring us a pizza. Just because I've lost so much weight over the holidays, it's perfect to get the pizzas. Thanks, guys. We'll be back in just a moment as we continue with football's Play to Win and who to pick in fantasy football this week. Stay tuned.
The Wizard, can you make me real so I can eat real mellow mushroom pizza instead of cartoon pizza?
Stand back. Here we go. Alakazam! Wiggity stickity poof!
I'm still a cartoon.
Then that'd be a no.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness.
Wiggity stickity poof.
Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
It's time to buy your new vehicle right now during the year-end blockbuster sales event at Mall of Georgia Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Epic savings like this. Take $6,000 off a 2016 Jeep Cherokee Sport and pay only $19,729. A 2015 Ram 1500 Bighorn is $11,000 off MSRP. And take $4,000 off MSRP on a 2015 Jeep Wrangler. Incredible year-end savings now at Mall of Georgia Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and online anytime at yourdodge.com.
Be ready to winter with Infiniti. Now through January 4th, lease the Infiniti QX60 for $399 a month. Visit your Atlanta area Infiniti retailer.
Today's Fantasy Report is being brought to you by SD Services. Home comfort or plumbing issues? We can fix that.
All right, it's time for fantasy football. Who's hot and who's cold? I know one thing. Adam Brown, our fantasy guru, is very warm. He's sitting poolside in Florida on a vacation this week. You see, though, still working on your fantasy projections. He's working the phones right now. And that means I've got all the right information for you. So let's get started. These are the people to play in your fantasy leagues this week. Let's start at quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger is always good, but particularly against Cleveland in that rivalry. Matt Ryan had a wonderful game this past weekend. He's going to be playing New Orleans with weakness in the secondary. He's being projected for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now let's take a look at the running backs. First of all, Todd Gurley, the former Bulldog at San Francisco. Gurley's projected to have over 100 yards and a touchdown. Doug Martin always plays well. He's at Carolina. 144 yards is his projection. Carolina did not stop the run well against Atlanta last week. Devontae Freeman, the Falcons' great running back, had a big coming out game. He kind of broke a mini slump he had. Against New Orleans, the projections are for 124 yards and a touchdown. The wide receivers, is this the year of the wide receiver or what? Look at them. Jones, Brown, Marshall, Robinson, and Beckham. Julio Jones at the top had a great day also against Carolina, projected for a touchdown once again this week. All right, now let's take a look at the good values, the medium and low level purchases that could be very profitable for you this weekend. Kirk Cousins, everybody on the Cousins bandwagon at Dallas. Washington already going to the playoffs now. He'll be at Dallas. He's projected to be a very good pickup. Isaiah Crowell, the former Bulldog, at Pittsburgh. Mike Gillislee, Buffalo's excellent running back, also there. And Eric Decker, the wide receiver for the Jets at Buffalo. Also Ben Watson. Ben Watson always has a big day against Atlanta with the New Orleans Saints. Ben Watson last week, the first time they played on the 6th earlier this year, had a really big game. And that's it. Adam will be back with us next week, but right now we're going to give you another opportunity to win even more as we go to the Red Pepper Taqueria You Be the Experts Challenge. You enter the games you're picking. Go to playingtowin.TV. We come back, we'll look into the NFL. Falcons nearly made it.
Heating system blowing cold air? We can fix that. Turn to the experts at Carrier and SD Services. We've been installing and repairing heating and air systems in Atlanta for 66 years. Save energy and money with a dual fuel system from SD's. Need to get warm? We can fix that.
In a wreck? Get a check.
I'm attorney John Foy, the strong arm. If you've been in a car accident, someone needs to pay. The sooner you call, the faster we'll get started.
I was hit and my car was spun out of control. I suffered injuries all over my body. I got the upper hand. I called the strong arm. My check, $1.2 million.
In a wreck? Get a check. Get the strong arm. Attorney John Foy and Associates.
We've owned a few different houses through the years. Your company was absolutely the best. They were so professional. Everything they did, they didn't get a mark on a wall or anything else. It was clean, it was friendly, and it was fun. And most of the time, moving is not fun. I'm going to give a great recommendation to Atlanta Peach Movers. It's always on time and it's always professional. There is no tree in Atlanta Peach Movers.
To schedule your move, call Atlanta Peach Movers today.
Bad pipes, clogs, broken water heater? We can fix that. ST's Plumbing Services, your man for all seasons since 1949, will make your plumbing problems disappear. From pesky pipes to new water heaters, we can fix that.
Today's NFL report is being brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
All right, welcome back to our Look Ahead show. Let's look ahead to the NFL playoffs as they're starting to shape up. Not completely settled yet, but as you see there in the North, the winner of that Green Bay-Minnesota game, the winner will be the champion of the North. The loser will be the wild card team along with Seattle, Washington, Carolina, and Arizona. Now let's go over to the AFC. Got the same thing going there in the South, Houston and Indianapolis. Winner wins. The loser is a wild card, Denver, New England, and Cincinnati. And by the way, we'll get started with this next week on the show with Jeffrey taking a look, and all of us taking a look at how those teams are going to match up in the playoffs. But right now, we also want to celebrate with the Atlanta Falcon fans a very good performance by the Falcons this past week, particularly, Chuck, defensively. And we've been questioning Vic Beasley all year, the #1 draft choice, but he exploded in that game.
Well, I think Vic Beasley and the defense did what they had to do to beat Carolina. First, you got to stop the run. That's the most important part. You got to stop the run and make them one-dimensional. They made Cam Newton one-dimensional, forced him to have to throw. Vic did well. The entire defense did well, swarming to the ball and playing like champions. That's what they played like in that game.
Yeah, it was incredible because I thought that the Carolina Panthers were just down just a little bit, not really up. And they said, one of the things they said afterwards, I think it was Cam Newton, said we couldn't match the Falcons' intensity. Well, who'd have thunk it?
Yeah. Carolina was sky high. Yeah. They were playing to win.
Yep.
Atlanta was just a better team that day.
Yeah, I thought so. It was really incredible to see. Now I want to talk about Matt Ryan, Bob Whitfield. Matt Ryan faced a lot of pressure. How did you rate the offensive line and Matt Ryan's performance?
I tell you what, Bob, they played hard, and they played not only to beat Carolina, but really to improve on their season and really to go out with a chance to make the playoffs, even though they don't. They showed the Atlanta fans that they were not going to quit on this season, and I give my hat to Matty Ice for hanging in there and throwing a 65-yard bomb to Julio.
Well, and to Julio for making a catch that caused Odell Beckham Jr. to say, that guy is the truth. Was that a catch?
That was a heck of a catch.
Got over Kuechly to bring I think he's the best receiver in the NFL, in my own humble, or maybe not so humble opinion. The Falcons have finished 9-7. They finished strong, but they still don't make the playoffs.
No, that bag streak, it cost him in the end. But it is important to go out with beating the Panthers, hopefully then beating the Saints, because what that does is what Bob just said. It gets your fan base back behind you. Atlanta is notorious for straying on the Falcons when they're not playing well. Now it's kind of ignited us again as a whole, as a people, and we're back behind the Falcons. And I love how Bob completely disregarded. He was right last week, and I was making fun of him when you said that the Falcons were going to beat the Panthers. So because you won't brag on yourself, I'll brag on you.
All right, there you go.
Right.
Good call, you are the man. I want to talk to you about this game with the Saints. Yeah. It's the last game of the year. Nobody has anything to play for in terms of winning or getting into the playoffs, but that's always a terrific matchup.
Yeah. Community pride. That's what this is about. This is all about New Orleans. This is all about Atlanta. The fans come down from New Orleans. The Falcon fans travel when they play in New Orleans. It's just a big rivalry. This means a lot to a lot of folks, and the Falcons still got things to play for, and there are guys at Carolina that are playing for their job, so they're playing for something too.
All right, now let's get Jeffrey and who's going to win this game with the Falcons and the Saints. Jeffrey.
My hat's off to Atlanta. They beat a team that clobbered them 2 weeks before. What could have been a 6-10 season, it could be a 9-7 season. New Orleans is a tough team to pick. 1 week they get killed, the next week they win. I think Atlanta's going to go to 9-7. Give the 4 with the Falcons.
All right, Falcons -4. Now it's time for our 68 Seconds with 680. And Chris Domino, we asked Chris to tell us what he thought Arthur Blank, the owner's New Year's resolution should be.
Thanks, Bob. This one's a little bit tricky because when you're asking an owner of an NFL team to have a resolution that might be for 1 year, it's probably not going to work. 2015, everybody wants to put it in the books. No doubt about it, Arthur Blank included. But you better learn something from it. And if you're asking for a resolution of what I'd like to be in 16, it's not the way it's going to work in this league, especially with the new stadium open in 17. You have to resolve, and this is Arthur Blank and everybody in the organization, that you're going to build a consistency level that says if we take a tick up 2 or 3 years in a row, I have the public confidence to not only have people buy my seats, but the idea that we're not going to actually play the up and down game that unfortunately has happened over the last few years. Your resolution has to be, I look to 16 to be the base of what will be better. 17, 18, and beyond is really the long-term gain. If on New Year's Eve you're saying I'm going to lose weight and it doesn't last very long, it's not necessarily a resolution. What it is a hope. Arthur Blank's resolution has to be that 16 is the year that this franchise turns it around. 17, 18, and beyond are the years that we look towards Super Bowl possibilities, not the possibilities of just playing 16 times in an NFL season.
All right, Chris Domino, were you talking about me? By the way, you're talking to me. Check this hat over here. Happy New Year to Bob Whitfield. We're back in a moment with Jeffrey the Ed Schechter and his lightning round. Stay with us as he picks the lightning round, including that big Minnesota-Green Bay game as we continue with Play to Win.
There's still time to get in. Cash now at Nissan's holiday event.
Get up to 1,000 bonus cash on top of existing offers.
Get in before it's over.
Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com. Nissan, innovation that excites.
You're just one number off, but the game is on.
Cash 3 and Cash 4 players, your days of being just one number off from the winning numbers are over with a brand new way to play called One Off. If any or all of your numbers are just one digit off the winning numbers in exact order, you still win. That gives you tons of chances to win a bunch of cash.
Just one number off, but the game is on.
Save great games? Not with the new feature. Play Cash 3 and Cash 4 with One Off, only from the Georgia Lottery.
It's not New Year's.
No, it's better.
It's the final days of Toyotathon. It's your last chance to get 0% APR financing on many of our most popular models. Our biggest event of the year ends January 4th. Don't miss all the fun. Hurry in to save big during Toyotathon's final days. Get a low 0% APR for 36 months plus $500 holiday bonus cash on a new 2016 Toyota Corolla. That's 0% APR.
Make the holidays happier at Toyotathon.
Toyota, let's go places.
Toyotathon is on at Stone Mountain Toyota, and that means tremendous savings for you on the new Toyota. The new 2016 Toyota Camry LE Automatic is Toyotathon priced at only $18,891. For a limited time, save big on a new 2016 Corolla L Automatic. Yours for just $14,991.
Stone Mountain Toyota, a great price, a great buying experience. Come in and have a cup of coffee with me today.
Today's Player Medical and Injury Report is being brought to you by John Foy and Associates. Personal injury law. Get the strong arm.
Next, the NFL Injury Report and the Player Medical Report. Let's take a look at the list of injuries in the NFL. The former Tide quarterback A.J. McCarron played well for the Bengals, hurt his wrist toward the end of the game, is questionable. Jadeveon Clowney, will he ever get off the injury list? Has a foot, he is questionable. Eric Weems for the Falcons, second one down there, sideline, he's in the concussion protocol. Now it's time for the Player Medical Report. Dr. A not with us this week, but he sent in these grades to tell you who's been downgraded in the NFL. Let's start first with Ryan Tannehill. He left this week 16 game with a minor left ankle injury, downgraded from A+ to A. Matt Forte of Chicago, a back injury, kept Forte out for most of the second half last week. He said, though, a little nick. He thinks he'll be back. Got him listed at a B for a moderate risk. Tevin Coleman for the Falcons. Remember, he fell in the shower 2 weeks ago, banged his head. He says he'll be cleared. He thinks he'll be cleared, but we don't know for sure. Small downgrade from B- to C. And down at the end there, Chris Ivory with the New York Jets, a right knee injury, forced Ivory to leave his game last week, but he was able to return in the second half. Due to a significant history of injuries, though, for Chris Ivory, as you see, Dr. A has kept him at an F. He's just had so many injuries that he's a very high risk if you're going to pick him for your fantasy league. So that's a look at the Dr. A Player Medical Report. He'll be back with us, of course, next week. Hope you'll stay with us now because we're going to join Jeffrey the Edge Schechter and his best bets of the week.
In a wreck, get a check.
A reckless driver swerved into me. I called the strong arm. My check, $675,000.
Get the strong arm. Attorney John Foy and Associates.
Why can't I have a slice of yours?
You're a cartoon. You can only have cartoon pizza.
It's not fair.
Look, this pie is 100% real, and you're colored ink. It's physics, man.
Well, can you buy me a beer?
I can buy you a cartoon beer. Are you single?
It's surprise.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness. Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
It can happen to anyone. The road to your recovery can be painful, both physically and financially. Protect your rights and get the lawyer who fights.
It's lightning round time. That means Jeffrey the Edge Schechter with the NFL and Chicago and Detroit. How do you see it?
Detroit's 1-4 outdoors. They're going to go to 1-5 outdoors. Chicago pick them as the play. Jets are coming on. They're going to be dangerous in the playoffs. I know Rex Ryan would love to beat them. Not going to happen. Give the 3 with the Jets. St. Louis could finish a disappointing year at 8-8 by beating a terrible San Francisco team. Give the 3.5.
All right, how about the bonus?
My boys, they're 12-3 against the spread, and I've been playing them. And also, when they lose, they get clobbered, so you don't have to sweat it out. Green Bay has a terrible offensive line. If I was Rodgers' mother, I wouldn't let him play. Take the 3 with Minnesota.
All right, Jeffrey the Edge. And by the way, on behalf of Jeffrey, Bob, Nikki, and Chuck, and Wah, and everybody with our staff, we wish you a very, very happy new year. We'll see you next week on Play to Win.
Play to Win has been brought to you by Toyota, the Georgia Lottery, and John Foy and Associates.